Hello, Marcus Kaufman. How is Australia? How's everything? So I'm just continuing with yesterday's live stream. My internet dropped. I was bored today. I wasn't going to do a live stream at this time, but I got a kind of bored, so I decided to just continue where we had stopped yesterday here. Sorry, Austria. The spelling is usually confusing, and usually when I'm reading, I'm just scanning the first and last letter. Austria, so that's in Europe. Nice. How is that? Fine. Great. Screen culprit, how are you doing? From India? Great. How is India? I'm guessing today is daytime right now as well, because I think we're in the same time zone. Curious time, myself from India. Great. Kunak, Ranak, Kuma. How is everything? Good to see you here. Yeah, again, we are continuing with where we had left off. Most of your views are from India. Yeah. A lot of you guys are from India, which is amazing. Okay, so let's continue where we left at. Now something like designing things to put here, and yeah, India has a lot of has a large audience on the internet. I think it rivals second to the US in terms of internet traffic. Just going to use an alpha mask here. Let me see, clip, and we have our poster there. I think I need to change the shadows here a bit. So, of you who were here yesterday when we were doing this, again, this is just a continuation of what we were left with, what we were doing yesterday. I think I need to go to the shadows and make them a little bit softer. We can use cascade shadows, increase the resolution a bit. Think hello from Portugal. Hey, Andre Silva, how are you doing? Okay, I think my resolution for the shadows is a bit too high, so let me just bring it down a bit. By the way, do you know that Cycles X now supports volumetrics? I haven't really tried out Cycles X. I haven't really given it a try. That's amazing if it does. Yeah, so because I've heard it's fast, but how fast exactly? Is it like 10 times faster than ordinary cycles, or is it just a little bit faster? You know, I think I can make this a bit old. I'm just going to duplicate this. Actually, I can use my other add-on, the quick decals add-on, and I think I have this under my resources, custom decals. Let me use some of these and Yep, it's a little faster. Ah, yeah, I haven't really given it a good try because I even rarely use cycles in my projects because I don't really use it a lot. Yeah, there is major differences. In my PC is drastically different. Nice, nice, nice. I think I'll give it a try, but I'm not really sure what to test it on because I'm not really creating anything super intense. Again, I'm just trying to make this a little bit older, so I want to get some maybe I could use, let me see, flows. I need something with high contrast so that I can kind of create a worn out mask. Let's see, uncategorized. Usually anything can work. Let me see walls. Anything with good contrast can work very well for this. So I'm using my add-on to create kind of a dot mask. For me, Cycles X works with volumetrics since version from 2 days ago. Yeah, 2 days ago is not that far because usually they update okay, Blender is crashing. Because usually they update the daily builds around a day. So 2 days is not that old. So it's possible. I guess I want to create a mask, custom alpha. Out of this, some reason it's not exactly giving me what I want. Let's try something like this. Oh, sorry, I have to have the alpha plus set to 1. Bring my contrast really up like that. And I think I need to go to my UVs and scale this either down or scale it up. I think I'm just going to get this and scale it up so that I have something like this. You can see now I get that kind of old surface detail. I think I need to bring the contrast a little bit down. A question, can we change the diameter of particles? It only shows in Cycles, not in Eevee. Why? What kind of particles are you trying to render? I want to make this a little bit older, so we have something like this. So this is kind of a toned down. Maybe let me get a better texture here. Scale this up or down. The hair particle system. If you want to use the hair particle system in Eevee, you need to make sure that I think in the render settings, you're using, is it strands? Yeah, I think strands render in Eevee, but strips don't. So that could be the issue. What is clipping in Blender? So clipping is basically a cutoff point for your camera or for your scene. So for example, if I go to my camera and change the clip end, so you can see that the camera is seeing all the way to 100 meters. So if I put this to something like 15 or 32, you can see that the camera will see up to that point. So it's just a cutoff point for the camera. So let me just bring this back to the 100 point. Clipping is when two or more faces share the same position. I guess that's also, I guess it depends on the context. If you're talking about cameras, but it's usually the clipping point. I guess it depends on what you're talking about again. Because for lighting, you also have a clip distance for the shadows. So shadows, if you have, say, let me go to the light and add something like a cube here, and also add a point light. Let me make it a little bit stronger. You can see that we have a shadow here, and you can see you have this clip start and clip. Yeah, you have this clip start distance. So at after this point, all the shadows will just be clipped off or kind of not be rendered. So it's a cutoff point depending on the context. Okay, I like these rays here. I think we can, yeah, I like the volumetric rays are there, so I'm just going to reuse them somewhere else here. Maybe have a small window, like some kind of ventilation, like that. I think it looks nice. And I also, if I go to my library here and building decals, I can get something that would look, I think it's under my building parts library. So I can just go to my ceiling. I have some nice ventilation that I can add in here. I think it will give us some nice shadows. I'm just going to rotate this 90 degrees. And shouldn't have this face here. Can be something, doesn't have to go all the way like that, just this is enough. Sorry, mixed up clipping and glitching. Yeah, I was kind of getting confused as well because I had not heard of that definition there. There's just a lot of things to know about 3D, so that's going to be our ventilation. And I think we can also add in a light here, an area light, just so we have something. And that will give us some nice light coming in. I want these to be a little bit thicker, so I'm just going to select them and scale by individual origins, so the ventilations are a bit thicker and much visible. I think I can bring in this light to be just a little bit in front of the ventilation. Let's see if I don't have this. This is what I get. I can give it some color as well. Oh, okay. I think we can. Let's try working on this bed here, because I think it's a nice addition to the scene. But I don't really have any good reference images for the bed, so I think, I don't know. Before we do that, let's just continue some texturing here with adding some texturing, because the walls look a bit too clean for me, for my liking. So I'm going to use my quick deco designers to add in some textures. So I'll go to my, I think, walls, and I want these kind of water damage. Add to scene. Did I add it? Yeah. Want it here. Rotate X. Rotate Y. X 90 degrees. Yeah, I want that rain damage. Something like that. Over there, but I don't want it to kind of take over the entire scene. So what I'm going to do, I'm just using the quick deco add-on. I'm just going to use create alpha channel, and that should use the contrast of the image, the texture, to create some contrast. And how to blend normal maps from the surface for the decals, like in Substance Designer. It sells the idea that is stuck on the board. Okay, I'm not really sure if I understand what you mean. How to blend the normal map, or do you mean like have actual? Because there is something called what is it called? There's something called, I'm forgetting what it's called. Parallax. Is it parallax? Yeah. Where? Let me see if I can get it here. I think. Occlusion. Parallax. Is it parallax? Occlusion mapping. But Blender doesn't support it. So it would sell the illusion much better. But Unreal Engine does it very well, and I think, yeah, and you see this effect here, basically it makes your textures look more three-dimensional. I can see here, this is just a simple texture, but it kind of gives the material some bit of depth just using normal maps. You can see the objects kind of look occluded in there when it's just a simple plain texture. And I think there is another video V-Ray. Is it a 3ds Max parallax occlusion shops? There is an add-on. Yeah, this here it demonstrates the parallax way much better. I think. How does that work? It's more. You can see it's just a single plane, but you can make it look like an actual three-dimensional surface. So unfortunately, Blender doesn't support this. It would be amazing if it did, because you can add in a lot of detail without doing too much. So yeah, let's create a mask for this. I'm just going to use, let me see if I invert. Okay, so I'm not sure why Blender is crashing today quite a lot. So I want to create a mask. Let me see if I invert the alpha. I'm just trying to add some detail to the wall, make it look much older than it is looking currently. And let me change the texture here a bit. Let me try using this here. See, it adds a layer of detail to the wall, which I think makes things look much better. So I'm going to scale this up a bit. And you can see now we have the wall looking more detailed, I think. Let me change my view angle to something focal length for the viewport to be wider so that I can see more of the scene. I think that looks much better. So this is without the add-on, without the decal, and this is with the decal. You can see it makes it a little bit more detailed, and I think I can also add a roughness to this so that it's not too shiny. So if I go to my decal roughness, use that, and just get a simple grunge map, I should make things look much better. Maybe let me try this. Yeah, I'll just settle for that. It makes the hospital more detailed, and I can even just duplicate this to the other side, to this wall, and without doing a lot of work, you can already see how much detail we are getting out of this. Just need to cut this off somewhere here, and if I want, I can set my cursor there, grab this wall, and then I choose my cursor as the pivot point and rotate this 90 degrees, negative 90 degrees, so that I have this corner like that. Hello, Bobby Y. How are you doing? Glad to see you here. Glad to see you. Let me also duplicate. I can also duplicate this and just. Okay, I'm not sure what I've done. Yeah, you can see that this is getting, I think, becoming a little bit better. We have the ceiling, how we have some light coming in, and yeah, so I can go to my asset library. I have a few assets I could use here. Hello, Vivek Gupta, how are you doing? Yeah, glad to see you. Let's see. I have some walls, but I don't think these would fit into this scene. Let me pull the camera a little bit back and see. think we can leave it there. As I said, I have some other things we can add in here. We have, if I go to my decals add-on, I am great and thanks for making an abandoned scene. Thank you, no problem, no problem. I think we can add a few things to the ground because right now it doesn't look too abandoned. It looks super clean. And again, we can just use the quick decals add-on. Just grab myself a different decal for this. And let's see something that would work very well on for the ground surface. This is, I think this would be a good crack to add in. Hello, Burning Bright. How are you doing? Let's just add that in. I think a nice crack like that. Maybe can have it go somewhere like that. But we don't want it to just cover all the surface. We just need mostly the crack. So I'm just going to play with the decal setting here so that I see mostly the crack. So I just go to create alpha channel and play with the contrast. Okay, I'm not sure why Blender is hanging a lot today, is crashing a lot today. So I'm going to continuously try to save. So let's come back to this. I want the crack, this crack here, to be added onto the floor. I'm just going to rotate this somewhere like that. And again, I want to play with the alpha channel a bit. Sweet God, the add-on is good time saver. Yeah, it does really take out a lot of time that you would spend texturing different nodes. And if you're trying to add say a crack onto the surface, you would end up with a nest of nodes, which becomes a bit difficult to work with. So I just want to play with the contrast here. And you can always preview the alpha channel. But, before we do that, let me first make sure that I can see. Let me just grab this above the surface. Okay. It seems that let me check to make sure that nothing else is running in the background, because Blender is crashing too much. That could be a result of something taking up our resources here. So let me see. We have Google Chrome, Blender. Doesn't seem like there is anything else here that is using up my CPU. So yeah, sometimes if you have two windows opened for Blender, sorry, if you're previewing within two windows, Blender can crash. So let's try sticking to one as we are working. What add-ons do you use mostly? So you'll see me using a lot of the asset library. This is also my add-on. Hey, thank you, Nicolay Costico, I think, for subscribing. Yeah, so most of the add-ons I use are usually my own add-on. So you see, I use a lot of the asset library add-on and the quick decals, and now the decal designer, because I usually create add-ons out of the need for you, after realizing that I need something like that. So, and you can check out the add-ons I use here. Let me see if I can get the link. Yeah, you can see all the add-ons I use here. Those are my own add-ons that I've created. So I want to have this as a crack. Yay, thank you, Zenhao Wing, for subscribing. Really appreciate it. So let's go back to the quick decals. I want this to be, but the problem is whenever I'm trying to change the settings a bit, create alpha map, Blender crashes. Let's try and see if this time it will crash. Yes. have to get a balance of this. I think I need to go to custom alpha here and play with a few settings. Yeah, I need this to be full at 1%, and I just play with these values. I think the crack needs to be something like this. Definitely, I'll buy it. Oh, thank you. Hey man, I'm a big fan, and I was wondering how would you add some atmosphere in a room to make it not feel flat. My render that I made looking 3D 2D. So if you don't want it to make it look flat, I usually play with the contrast. Don't have all the areas in a sync all lit up. So for example, you can see that I try to play with contrast here. So I don't have. So for example, you can compare this to this. You can see I have areas in shadow, areas in light, and I also have some volumetric lighting. So instead of using an HDRI light or environment light, that will just shade everything, give everything uneven light, which kind of makes the render a little bit flat. Hello, Shashwat, how are you doing? I usually turn off the world or the background lighting, so that I can play with the contrast of the room to kind of get that even lighting, or give it that kind of depth. Okay, so I want to get this crack. I'm still playing around with the contrast here, just a bit. I think I need this to be inverted so that we have the opposite. And you can see the crack now as it kind of propagates into the surface. Like that. And I can reuse this, Shift D, rotate it around, and you can see now I have multiple cracks in there. Hey, thank you for subscribing, Grayzone. Really appreciate it. And if you're new here, it would be amazing if you subscribed as well. I can also add more cracks in here. Shift D, rotate this around. Hey, thank you for subscribing, Elite Shanger. Really appreciate it. Hello, Hyra. How are you doing? I'm going to scale this down, and you can see with just one single decal, I'm able to create multiple cracks from it by just rotating it around. So it's not always necessary to texture design decal. Okay, it's not always necessary to just create everything from scratch. Just okay, where is this? First, make sure that this. Just going to play with the contrast, so I can make these cracks more pronounced, like that, or less pronounced, or something like this. So I want them to be somewhere in between. I'm not sure if they are coming through for you, given the YouTube compression, but I think they you can see them, they are visible. Hey, Amog, Joshi, thank you for subscribing, really appreciate it. I can even duplicate this further, Shift D, can rotate it again, maybe scale this down, just move it to a different position, or find myself a different type of crack. Let me maybe get something like, I don't know, let's try using something like this, but we need to play with the contrast a bit to get. And actually, before we do that, we need to make sure that this is a separate material so that we don't overwrite the other cracks. Try to use a lighter browser. Chrome is a rug. Yeah, so yeah, Chrome does. Yeah, it eats a lot of RAM, but I use Chrome because it's easy for me to log in into different applications. It's much faster than other browsers. So we can go to the internet and find some crack textures. And okay, these are too harsh. I don't want them to be too harsh. You can even go to textures.com. They usually have some nice textures. Let me look for cracks, but I want photo textures. So some of these have alpha channel, which is amazing. So let's find. I'm not sure if this would work very well. So let's grab. I think I already have this, but let me get it again. I think I have it now in my downloads. So I can reuse, I can switch this out, this texture for the one I've just downloaded. So I'll go to this, and you can see we now have more cracks in our material. Off topic, but have you ever tried animating a laser beam with particles and smoke and stuff? Not really. I have not tried it, but it shouldn't be that hard. Hey Stanis, how are you doing? I'm just going to call you Stanis because I can't really pronounce that name, sorry. Please add some cracks made with claws and scratches made by nails or something. It makes it feel embedded with apocalypse. So you mean like cracks made here, something like. Let me see. How do you approach something like that? If you want, like, embedded within the meshes themselves, are like Wolverine cracks. I'm thinking of different ways, but use the cracks as a decal. Yeah, I think that's what we have been doing here. Maybe I can also add them to other walls. So let me just. You can see, so that's another crack there. Can just give it a slight rotation on the x-axis, and now we have a crack. We have another crack there. Will you leave this live in your channel? Yes, all my streams are always available. How did you get started in 3D design? Cause you are political 3D model. I just started as a hobby, man, and then I just continued doing it, mostly watching YouTube tutorials, like you're doing here. Just want this crack to be much visible, so I think something like that. No. And if you read this, you can make the crack seem more kind of powerful like that. I just bring in the contrast a bit. How you do that? Is that a plugin? Yeah, so yeah, this is my quick deco plugin, which you can check out on my Blender Market page. What programs do you use mostly besides Blender? Well, I do a lot of programming, so yeah, I just program using Visual Studio Code, Visual Studio. Yeah, I now mostly use Blender and programming, so I don't really use other programs a lot. So if I'm not using Blender, I'm just writing code, programming. So not much. By the way, I think the roof is a little gross. Yeah, I think that's true. So I can jump in here and the roughness here. I can use a convert math node to make it a little bit rough. Hey, Eddie. What's up? I see it now. Okay, so something around there. I was gonna say, no way you made that add-on. Yeah, I made the add-on. Yeah, most of the add-ons I've made. So most of the add-on, except for the shortcuts, which I should actually have enabled. So the asset library, the cloth library, the decals library, and the design. This is the new add-on I was creating, and I guess we can use it for in some areas. Not sure, because what we are trying to recreate is. Yay! Thank you for subscribing, Vanid Durai. Very informative. Thank you. No problem, man. You're welcome as well. I think this is also a nice detail that we can use. So I'm just going to download this as well, and let me create a new quick decal just to add in another layer of decal here. So I'm just going to go back to my downloads and get this surface. I'll add it here, and I think it makes the surface look a bit better. So if you see this kind of flickering going on, you just have to bring the surface a little bit forward. Oh, and I think I need to use, I don't need the invert surface. I need to use, okay, let me first take a look at this. Oh yeah, actually it's exactly how it should be, except the roughness here, the roughness of this is so let me bring that, make it a little bit rough. So you see, it adds an element of detail and breaks up this wall much better. And we have some wires here. I'm trying to look for other things we can add in. You know what? I rarely use the cloth library add-on, so let me just use it here to add in a character. So let's see. We can go to the women cloth and see what we can add in. Let me get this at the scene. So you see, it just brings in clothes like this, and I can use a pose dummy here, just the character here. I think my scene is a bit too small for this, so I'm just going to I'm just going to scale down the character instead of the cloth. But before we do that, let's give her some, I don't know, maybe a jacket as well. Let's see, can give her this skirt. And this add-on also comes with some materials. So for example, I don't like the look of this material, so I can play with I can try to switch out to a different material. These are not really that complicated materials, just simple materials that you can use to can come back here, maybe make this a bit dark, and I need to make sure that these are parented to this. Okay, so I also need the character to be parented to the bone structure. I think I need to merge a few, but this, reduce the resolution of this shot a bit. Maybe that's too much. How did you make the god rays from the window? These are just I just have a volume object, some volumetric object. I can say the settings are not that. Basically, these are just the default settings, and yeah, that's it. And I also have a sun that is pushing out that is emitting the rays. Going to scale this down. So this is my cloth library add-on. It just comes with a lot of clothes for your character, and the clothes also come with a rig that you can manipulate a little bit. So pause. Maybe let's give this character a nice pose. Let me just get us somewhere here. I don't know what kind of pose I should give her. I think that makes her look a little bit more interesting. Just looking somewhere in the distance like that. Maybe I will have her somewhere here. Looking through this window, which I need to change to be positioned right around her eye line. And I just grab these. So need this to be okay, actually I want her to be, actually this should have stayed up, so I'm just going to bring it back up where it was, and just think it's more interesting if she's standing on something, and maybe let me get a little bit up. And I'm going to use my asset library to import in, I think I have a chair somewhere. Let me see, street. I think I need to go to my, I don't know, furniture park and see if I have. This could work for this scene. So she's standing on a seat and trying to look out of the window like that. Just make sure that this is maybe holding on to the surface here. Now I think I'm going to use, usually I end up using almost every add-on I've created, except for the cloth library add-on. I don't use it a lot because I don't normally have characters in my scene. And you can see if this is going on and I'm using the cloth library add-on, I also, in the cloth library add-on, there is a sculpt mode that can help you get rid of that clipping if it's going on. So yeah, something like that. And I want to, let's go to the decal designer because I want to design some text that goes here. Because this wall is a bit too plain. So I'm just going to the decal designer here and start adding some elements, working with some elements here. Let's say, let's start with a simple text saying, say, level 5, I don't know. And we can add actually, let me start with this here. Make editable. So we have something like this, danger, level 5, something restricted. By the way, if you're not sure what this add-on is, it just simply this helps you design decals that you can use later. Instead of doing this in Photoshop, I wanted to have an application, an add-on that makes it so that I only work within Blender. I don't have to switch between different add-ons. How did you make the window? Oh, so I think I explained that already. I want this to be a different color, so just maybe give it a bluish color. The danger can have a red color like that. Level 5 can be a white color. And this can be black. It doesn't. Because it's going to be around here. I think it will be readable. And what else can we do? I think I can make it more interesting. Just going to use no humans. Loud. A directional arrow. Okay. So directional arrow, we can go back to decal designer and I think I have a few directional arrows. Yeah, I think we can get this. And so where do we put it? I think I can use this. And maybe just make this wider like this. We might be using a lot of colors here, so let's try restricting this to a few. I'm just going to get this white. Now, the great thing about this add-on is that you can even preview what you're doing and how it's going to come out. Hey my, hey man, are you not interested to modeling human model or sculpting like live session? Yeah, so you see, when it comes to this industry, you have to specialize, and so I decided not to work with to do character modeling because it takes up a lot of time, and you have to be really really good to make any money out of it. Because I do this as a business, so I try to be very careful in what kind of disciplines I choose to follow. So 3D models, 3D character models don't really. You have to be really really good to make any money out of it. So this is going to be our banner. I think we're going to add it here. So hey, thank you there. I'm not sure how to pronounce your name. Is that? I'm not sure. Okay, so let's render this and see. I can go to save image, hit render, decal. Like this is going to set up my camera. So I just need to recenter everything, and we can save this. I'm going to save this in my resources, custom decals. I'll just call it 1. And now what I can do is come into, let me bring back my outliner here and just look at the cameras I have in the scene. Let me first G type and move this to come. I want to have a camera collection. Hey man, what is your PC config? Hello and welcome Ranger. It's a minimum setup, so it's just a 3 GHz i5 CPU, 8 GB of RAM, and this is my GPU. It's a 1060 3 GB. So let's set this up. I want to go back to the main camera here, and I want this to be onto the surface. So since I've already rendered this, the design we have created, I can just go into my decode stroke use decal, and I can see it should be here. I just have to add it as a plane like that. I think it's cut off for some reason, so let's go back to the preview and see why it's cut off. Re-render. I need to re-render this and see. I need to re-render this so that we render the entire thing. Save. And now I can add it here, but did I save? Did I save? I don't think I saved. I just want to override this. Now what I can do, instead of just adding it as a plane, I can use my quick decals add-on. I see my PC CPU is more or less like yours. I just need to buy a better graphics card. Can you suggest me one? Well, that depends on what you're trying to do, but usually the more powerful the better. So maybe if you can afford it, I can get an RTX 3080, and if you can even access it, because I've heard that they're not really very common. I'm going to use the deco add-on here to add the surface. Okay, this is not the surface I wanted. Actually, let me switch back to my active camera. This also doesn't look too bad here, so let me just also have it somewhere there. And then on top of that, I'm also going to bring in the decal we just created. So let me go to my resources, custom decals, and here it is. We just add that in, add decal, and that's what we have. So it's here, but the colors don't really, they are blending too much into the surface. So let's play with the materials here. So I'm going to go back to my to this here. And play with the materials. So if I go to the quick material settings, I need to go to the designer, design, and play with the materials a bit. I think the yellow material is going to be much better. Maybe I can make this white so that things are much readable. And okay, yellow would be better. Okay, so let's try everything in yellow, like so, and give this, render this again, then save. I want to save this. Let me see if I've replaced it. So it doesn't seem to replace, so I just need to go back to the main camera. So this is what we have. I just have to change. If I go back to the quick decals, I can switch this back to the one we have. Just actually, I switch it from here. I just have to switch this to the one I just created, and think, yeah, starting to look better. But I think we need a light here so that it can illuminate the sign so that it's much visible. So that's what I'm going to do. Add a light, contact shadows, and also make it like, how is it? Make it tube light so we can easily see the sign we have just created. And now, since we are using the quick deco add-on, we can make use of all the other things that come with it. And if the color you have is not really coming out as you expected it, and using the quick deco add-on, I can just make this a different color. I don't know, but this is too newish for me, so I can also use a custom roughness. I can go into the details. I think it's under decals. I am back, Bran. Hey, how are you? Glad to see you back. I want to add some grunge to break up this surface a little bit, so I can use this custom roughness to kind of break up the surface a little bit, make it much rougher. And if I want to make this even more old, I can use some custom alpha. Just get a rough. I'll get something like this. And you can see it has already made it quite dark. I think I can okay, let's get it back to yellow like that. Okay, oh, we can even make this totally wider. Okay, this light is a bit too much for my scene, so I'm going to bring it down. And usually what I like to do is just come in, select all my lights, and just have them into a lights collection. Like that. And just switch off all the lights and start turning on one by one, just to see how each light affects my scene. So I think I like this one here. I like that. And I also like that there. Okay, this, whatever this light is too bright for this scene. So I want it to be a little bit... I don't want it to have too much impact on the scene. And I think I need to change back my 1080. I think this gives us more impact. And this light seems a bit too excessive, but I think I'm okay with it. I'm just going to make it a little bit less bright. Be something like that. I think it gives us a nice silhouette out of this. Okay, we are not seeing much of the detail that we have here. So I think I'm going to grab this light. So if we put it at a 10, that's what we get. Let's see, if I put it at around 5, it lights up the area, but not too much, because I don't want too much light in here, because I want to maintain the contrast that we have here. The custom alpha makes great impact on the look. Great add-on. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And let's first go back here. See what else we can do. We can add in the bed, or just... I also want this to be the chair to be visible a bit. So what I'm going to do is use my asset library. I think I saw some candles. Chair. I saw some candles in here that we could use. These are doors. This is an AC air conditioner. Not going to be very useful here. Let me go to my decals. I think that's where, yeah, so I have a few candles here, and I think I can just use them on the surface. So we make the table look a bit visible. So just going to add a point light here, and just make sure that it's very, very faint. Turn on contact shadows, and I'm going to duplicate this a few times. So Shift D. Okay, the candles look a bit big in size, too light for the size, and I think I need to play with the material here, so that the substance Let's see what other things we can add in. We have this light, but it doesn't fit the other lights we already have in metals. We have some banners, but it's a hospital, so we're not going to use those. And categorize. Okay. I also have this asset here. It's a kind of I don't know how it's for cleaning, so I'm just going to add it in there. So I made this using the texturing was done in Substance Painter. That's why you see it's way detailed than most of my other assets. So it's just going to be added somewhere there. I'm looking for other things to add in. Let's see. I think we can add in more hanging wires, which we already have here. Can just add one there. Let me switch. Building. Okay, that's nothing there. Nothing interesting there. I also have these. I'm not sure if hospitals have these kind of posters or signs. Interesting. Ashraful Alam, thank you. Let's add in, street sign, who cares? If it's far enough, no one will be able to read it. So let's add it there. It's too large for the scene. I think I need it to be somewhere in the light so that it's much visible there. What else can we add? That doesn't fit. Nothing here fits the scene. Nothing here. Nothing here. Uncategorized. Nothing here. Okay, let's go to the collection. Nothing. Nothing. Let's switch to the furniture. Let me see. In my furniture, blue chairs fit in there. I don't think I have any blue chairs, and I don't want to create anything from scratch. They look like the hospital waiting chairs. Did I have any blue chairs here? I think I have some chairs. Let me go back. I can't remember which. Let me see. What category? Where did I have? I see. Yeah, I remember I do have. You did in one collection, so that should be in my furniture. Decals. Yeah, I think I do have some chairs, but I don't remember which one. Where which collection? Is it in streets? No, in the furniture. So in my furniture collection, let me see. Yeah, I think I have something here. Let me see. Under chairs. No, this. I remember the chair I think you're talking about. Furniture. Yeah, I know the chair. I'm just forgetting. It had many objects. Let me see. Is that... no, I don't think it's in the archviz. This decals. Yeah, let me just get the model itself and just re-add it to the... If I go to my models, I seen there is a chair. The chair you're talking about, I know it, but I'm not. Is it this airport chair? Yeah, I think this is the one that you're talking of. So let me just open it up and add it to my library so that I can easily find it. And I think I need to add it to my... Let me add it to my furniture collection. Just going to select this, switch to collection. I'll give it a quick render. Let me just make it blue. Let me set up the materials for this. So we want it to be a little bluish like that, and maybe I can use a roughness. Some grunge map for just to make it a little bit rough. I think I'm just going to use... it wasn't this specific one? Because this is what I was thinking of. I don't remember any other blue furniture I have, blue chair I have. So let me just add this, maybe make it a little bit dirty for our scene. Mix RGB. Just going to use the same colors. So this is going to be bluish, and this is going to be a bit dirty. So something like that is enough. That maybe this is a faded blue like that. Now this setup should also be the same for the other material we have on this. Hey, thank you for subscribing. Jai Biha Education. Thank you. So going to do the same for this here, except this is going to be dark. Yeah, so we have a dirty chair. I think I also need to do this for this material as well. I need to do this for this material as well. You can see the one in the screenshot. Which screenshot? Yeah, so this is going to be our material. And this is going to be our roughness. I think this one may be a bit better. Oh, good to hear that. Yeah, so let me just add this to my collection. Just do a quick render as seen, and yeah, maybe this like that, maybe at an angle like that, and then I can save this into my furniture collection, and the collection can be under furniture, the category can be under furniture, save, and now I just have to go into here, change to furniture, the category, it was under collection, the category was under furniture, and now we have our chair. Just add it in. It seems a bit too large for our scene. Rotate this 180 degrees. Yeah. How do I send a link? So it doesn't seem, you can do it, and you can use this code to send the link. You can, if you do, let me know, and I can check out the Discord to see if it's there. So you can have this around here. On this surface. Like that. And I think this works better than this. So duplicate this, hit 180, just have the character stand on this instead of the other one. I don't think it fit at the same as I expected it, so also just grab her a little bit, have her maybe scale her up a bit, get these lights, the candles and everything, just have them, maybe let me have them on the floor. I think another thing that is kind of disturbing is that the radius is too high for these. So it shouldn't be that large. I think we can just have them a little bit somewhere there. I think I can also have a copy of these. Lying Shift D. I want to light up this area as well, and maybe also have another set of these seats on this on here, around here. But this time I'm going to edit these so that they appear broken. So I'm just going to make these editable. And then just remove one of the legs. Just going to apply this mirror. This is a subdivision surface. Just remove one of these legs. Hey, thank you for subscribing, Daniel. Really appreciate it. I'm just going to first select the entire thing. 3D cursor. So one of the legs is broken like that, and I just want to have these lit up. So I'm just going to add a light around this area. I think what I can do is change the direction of this light of the sun. Okay, I would have some issues. Let me make this 100. I want a light somewhere here. Just make it something like 5. I think I don't want any volume. I don't want. I just want these chairs to be a little bit visible, but something like 2. Maybe that's too much. 1. Yes, somewhere around there. Let me look at how Cycles would render this. And change. Let me see. Need to turn on denoising here. Okay, so this is how cycles would render this. The problem is that I think I have a lot of emissive light coming in. So if I'm using cycles, I would have to turn off most of the light so that just the lights we have set up should be emissive. This glossy light has a value of 5, SC 0.1. Let's stick to EV because we would have to do a lot to make our cycles lighting work with the setup we have. So let's stick with EV. It's faster, and yeah, that's what we have been using. Where did my music go? Let me see how this looks. Hey, GD Imoto, how are you doing? I'm trying to see different lighting conditions. I think we just have to go back to our version. And I'm just going to get another character to use here. I'm just going to go to my mega scans. I have another character I could use here. Let me get this guy. This is a character from free, I think free scanned models. Is it? Rotate 180. Free render people. Just going to have him seated here. I'm going to make editable. So let's do some quick pausing here. Just going to get rid of these. I think this chair is floating in the air. Let's go back here. So it's going to be in deep sorrow for whatever they're suffering from. I want to have him bend He's just there, seated in sorrow for whatever has happened to him. Now all is left is to do some rendering tests, play with the volumetric shadows to get better details. I think I'm going to have it at somewhere there, and the shadows here can set this to something like yeah, I think I'm just going to give this a quick render, maybe add in some camera animation. And let me just give it a very basic camera animation. Just going to go in here, set this to 1. How big is your PC screen? It's not really that big. I don't know. It's is it 30 inches? I'm not really sure how to measure this, and I've never really. It's not that big. I think it's 25. It's the width of your keyboard, maybe a little bit wider. So I have 2 screens, so that's why that, yeah. The other screen is just showing me the live stream starts this, and I also have my laptop on, playing the music in the background, and that's basically my setup when I'm streaming. So the canvas look a bit too large or too big for this scene, so I think, and we don't need 3 lights for this. I just medium. If you're seeing this Z fighting, you can just move the layers just a tiny bit above each other. Just come back to this. We only need 1. We don't really need all of those. So let me see how fast my PC can render while I'm streaming. Seriously, I can't work with Blender and reference open on one screen. Everything feels too confined. Yeah, so the reason why I have this reference is for the live stream, but I have a second screen where I could have it, but then you guys wouldn't be able to see. That's why you see I have it there. And this, for me, this is not too confined. I can easily navigate my viewport. Let me first give this a quick render and see how fast are these renders. If it's too slow, then I would have to end the stream and render offline, off stream. Let me see how long has this been. So this is 1 hour and 37 minutes. That's okay. Okay, I think this would be too slow to render on stream. So I'm just going to end the stream here. Thank you guys for coming and checking out the stream. You can see how this frame is looking. There are a few things we can definitely improve, but yeah, for something that was done in, I think, I don't know. The decals really came out really nice, I think. The details here, the surface here, the gold rays. We could use more resolution for the shadows, but then that would also increase the render times. I think these chairs came out looking nice. The candles look good. Her skin material doesn't look that good, but that's okay. Maybe some floating bubbles, particles. Okay, let's try floating particles. Let me first end this render. Some floating particles, we could use a volume like this, a cube. Just make sure that it encloses the entire scene. Something like that. And I'm going to go into particle system, new particles. If I play back, okay, let me first play back within this so that the particles are much faster. I can go to the properties and just make sure that instancing is turned off so that we don't render the particles. So this is what we have, but I want the particles to be like dust particles. So an easier way to do this is to just use a cube. Hey, thank you for subscribing, Eshan and Pradhan. Thank you. So to make this more like a particle system, I'm going to shade smooth. And if I go to the materials, I can use, let me first create a new material, because I want this to be a bit transparent, so that it looks like a dust particle. I can use a shader. I think I can use a translucent shader, and then a transparent shader. Let me first get rid of this. I can mix these, and we should get a kind of a blend between, yeah, translucent and transparent. But I don't want to see these sharp edges. So what I can do is use a layer weight shader, layer weight. Where is this? Input layer weight, and this should give me a mask of, you can see already a mask like this that is always facing the direction of the camera. Actually, I think I don't even have to use a cube like this. I can even use a plane. Let me see, actually. I think the problem with the plane, you don't really get that third dimension. So a cube is your best option. And I want to use this as a mask, this Fresnel or layer weight as a mask for the transparency. And I also need to turn on alpha blend or alpha hashed and alpha. We don't need shadows for the particles, but what we need, I think we can use shadows, no problem. I think we can use clipped shadows, and for the blending mode we can use alpha blend. I don't need to show the back face. We just have to play with this so that only the particle is visible. I think I need to scale this even further. So at any point we only see the particle. At some point you'll be able to see the edges like that, but I don't think that's going to matter too much. If you want for your particle to be more smooth, I just had a subdivision like that. If I have show back face, then you can see how this looks. So it looks like a dust particle. It looks like a volumetric particle, but it's not really a volumetric particle. It's just using a shader. The reason why I didn't want to use a subdivision surface is that we're going to need a lot of particles, and using a subdivision surface is going to require a lot of subdivisions. Hello, thank you, Moela, for subscribing. Really appreciate it. But I guess if we use fewer subdivisions, then we can get yeah, a better looking particle like this. So I'm just going to apply that. Now if I look at this, we still have a lot of particles, but I guess we have no choice. Let's just go with that. Now you can play with this. Make sure that shade smooth is on. The more subdivisions you have, the smoother your particle is going to look. So let's switch out these for this here. And if you want this to be more powerful, more contrasted, you can add a math node with a power. So you can make the particle look more pronounced or more blended. But let's just go with that. Now again, you can go back to the particle system and in render select object and select this object here, and we have our dust particles. As you can see, if you look at them, yeah, they do look like dust particles. The issue we're having right now is that let me first get the scale to be random, fully random, and maybe a little bit larger like that. So right now they're just falling down, which sucks. So what we can do is go to we can go to the physics, change the mass to something very small, so that, okay, they're still heavily affected by gravity. So we're just going to go to the field and reduce the gravity at something like that. And you see, when they are emitted, they jump up a bit before they fall down, and that is because they're being emitted 1 meters per second away from the normal. So we can just make it 0 so that they're just emitted directly onto the surface. This will make them fall directly down, which is not what we want. So let's add in a turbulence field, just so we have some turbulence in the particles. So I'll just give this a size. I'll have to do a lot of experimenting. So a size of 1 makes them to fly too high, too fast. We play around with the strength. See how things are. I think they still look a bit too thick or a little bit too big. So I'm just going to reduce their size, make them a bit tiny, maybe increase the size of the turbulence, something like 0.5. Make it a bit slower. Okay. But they're flying everywhere. I want them to be a little bit confined. So let's try a size of 0.5. And they're dying too quickly. So let's go back to the particles and give them a length of the timeline. So 440. And one thing you will notice is that most of these particles, let's first see how they look here. You can see how they look in the render here. One thing you will notice is that, let me first go back to this, is that they just pop into existence and then just pop out of existence, which is not what we want. You can use a texture to kind of make them just, instead of just popping into existence, to fade into existence. So I'm just going to use our blend node. So they start out at a scale of 0, go to full scale and then a scale 0 again. So I just need to change the color ramp, add a color ramp here to get the same effect. I think I would add make this I think I can use ease. So this means that they're going to start out small and then fade in. So I just have to change the influence from lifetime to size. Now if you look closely, instead of popping into existence, they fade in and fade out of existence. But I think I just need to change a few things here. Let me bring this back to actually I can get rid of this node. You can see they start out small and then become a bit larger. They're moving too fast, so I'm going to add a drag force. That should slow them down a bit. It's a blender. What graphics card are you using? It's a 1060 3GB. So we want to add some drag. So I'll go to force field, drag. Okay, things are becoming really slow when I add in a drag. Okay, oh, when I'm trying to capture this. Anyway, that's how you add particles in. You just have to reduce their scale and the scale here, maybe make them a little bit. So we can add in some Brownian motion, add in some drag directly in here, and maybe some damp. Scale them a little bit down and add more particles, something like 5,000. And we can emit them towards the center, so negative 0.5. And the source, instead of faces, actually you don't, if we are going to change this, we don't need the negative no more. We can change the emission from faces to volume, so that some particles are emitted inside the volume itself, like that. And what I can do is I don't want these to go off screen, because then most of them are just going to add to computation power without really contributing anything. So I'm just going to cut, just give this a collision property and kill the particles that collide with it, all the particles that collide with it. So let's try this again. So we want most of the particles to be in here. They still look a bit too large relative to the camera. But, let's give this a quick look in the render view. I think we have our particles. They just need to be a little bit smaller, I think. Just need to make them quite small. I think I need to bring back the drag force because they're moving a bit too fast for me, for my liking. So unfortunately, every time I add a new force, I have to recompute with cache, and that is, yeah. So anyway, I'm going to end the stream here. I'll give this a quick render, and maybe in the next stream, which could be tonight, or maybe something like 8 hours from now, because I'm changing my schedule a bit. I just did this because I was bored, so I decided to make a live stream. But I'm going to give this a quick render, and I'll post the final results later. Thank you for watching.